Welcome to Bourbon, Brews, and Bumpers, where we sit down with some of the Louisville area's distillers and brewers to talk about their bourbons, brews, and the cars they own and love. Today we're here with the guys at Hometown Brewing, and as the luck would have it, our very first podcast, we get to sit down over a really cool beer with some cool guys that named the beers after cars. So, you guys want to introduce yourself?
I'm Chris. I'm the brand developer for the beer.
My name's Tom Brown. I'm the owner. We're the guys that kind of put all this stuff together. So we've been having a good time doing the beer now. We incorporated in 2019 and have been slowly building the brand since then.
We're just good people with good brews.
All right. So what we're going to do, guys, is just kind of talk about, the beers, and we'll talk about cars. So we'll start off with, what was each of your first car?
My first car was actually a 2008 Ford Fusion.
Ford Fusion. All right, cool.
Yeah, 2008 Ford Fusion. Drove it around, beat it up, and drove it till it died.
What was your first car?
Mine was a 1971 Pontiac Firebird Formula 350.
Oh, wow, cool. And that's one of the beers, right?
It's the silver can right here. It's we've named the beers. I love beer, pizza, and cars. It's kind of where we're all at. This is what it all is. It's Hometown Pizza, Hometown Brewing, and here's all the cars. These are my vehicles that we've just kept over the years. So it's the Formula was the first one, and it was first car. It was always gonna be the first beer. It's not here. Yeah. It's being restored fully. It's in Shepherdsville. A guy called Roger Markham is building the vehicle. So we did an LS swap with it, tub the rear, and it's really gonna be a showpiece for the brewery. Yeah. So all the vehicles that will get a beer will be either showcased, or they'll be actually sales. There'll be production vehicles. You'll be able to drink a beer out of them. We'll tap it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He's going to make the Firebird my sales car, right?
Exactly. You can drive around every day.
700 horsepower.
Yeah, 700 horsepower, your daily driver. We don't care about the gas money. It's all right.
My first car was a 68 Galaxy 500 that got hand-me-down from my mom and dad. And then, but I love that car, and I'd love to have it back.
I hear that story over and over again. A good buddy of mine had a 69 GTO and had a minor fender bender, and he let it go. And all these guys let their first cars go. And it stunk in my head, don't let it go. So I just never, and it was a rust bucket, but I drove it Firebird, I probably drove the Firebird 350,000 miles in its time, in its tenure, and so it did well.
That's awesome. So what was your favorite car? Out of all the cars you've had, what's your favorite?
I had a 2014 Dodge Ram pickup truck. That was my favorite. Drove it off the lot with 2 miles on it. So that was definitely my favorite car I've had so far.
Why was it your favorite?
I'm a pickup truck kind of guy. So just like driving it around. It was new. It was first thing I really bought all on my own. So it just kind of means something.
That means something too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Your first car that you actually bought and paid for. Yeah. What was your favorite?
Well, besides the Firebird, it's got to be the Buick over here, the '68 Buick Wildcat convertible. Just because it's big as a city block, and you get 6 or 7 people in it. It's one of these things you just kind of cruise around all day on and just kind of roll. It's got a 430 V8 in it, so it's got plenty of power. It gets 8 miles to the gallon, but it's what you
pass everything but a gas station.
Exactly, pass everything but a gas station.
That's awesome. So what made you want to get into brewing?
That's an interesting story. A buddy of mine, Mark Allgar, who owned Cumberland Brews, he had an idea, and he had the idea to make a beer crust out of spent grain.
Oh, cool.
So we've been working on that project, and during that, he decided to get out of the beer business, and he had introduced me to it. So I'm like, well, okay, I'll get into the beer business.
But I need yeast.
But I need you know what I mean? So it all kind of came together. I had this building. We just kind of connected the dots to put it all together like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, and then what made you decide to name the beers after cars? Was that just something that just kind of popped in?
We're all sitting around together as we're putting this thing together, and we're building the buildings, and the cars are here. They've seen everybody around here has seen the cars forever because we've had them for a long time. And it just started to become, it's like, well, what if we call it this, or what if we call it that, or what if, then you have, they're neat vehicles as demonstration presentation vehicles. So it just kind of evolved organically with this guy, and then with Ellis, the brewer. It just kind of took off on its own.
And I love the fact that they're named after cars that you've owned, so which is really cool. So it probably makes it more personal for you.
And we still have them.
Like your little children.
Like my little, you're absolutely right.
And your job is to run around and tell everybody about this great beer.
Yeah, I get to run around, talk about the beers, try to get our brand out there more. With so many, breweries popping up in the state.
There's a bunch now.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many there are, and they're popping up every day. But yeah, I just go out there, talk about our beer, try to get it in there, really hit the, tell them we're local, that gets us in the door a lot of places. People love local beers, and we got an excellent brewer, makes great beers. So it's not a hard sell at all.
As one of my jobs in the past, I traveled with a company that was all over the Southeast and worked with dealerships all over the Southeast. And every time I'd go in a different town, I'd always go in and ask for a local IPA because, like you said, buy local. It's everybody's had a Budweiser, but when you get that, great local beer, that's really cool. So,
yeah.
Do you have a favorite IPA that you've?
My favorite IPA, it would probably be out of Huntsville, Alabama. There's one called Good People. And if you're ever down around Huntsville, that's a really great beer. And when I saw your Good People, Good Brews, I was like, that kind of reminded me of it too. And ironically, their logo is an old like 1950 pickup truck on the label.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, and it's good. Really good beer if you're down there. So, what's your favorite style of beer?
If you asked me 3 or 4 years ago, I'd have said Bud Light. I mean, I was a Bud Light guy. I was young and dumb. And as things kind of gathered on, my favorite right now that we have brewed is the Long Body Ale. That's definitely my favorite. It's an American Pale Ale. So I kind of stay around the Pale Ales, IPAs, APAs.
You like it hoppy?
Yeah, definitely.
And what about you? What's your favorite style?
I like them all. I like them all. I have no one I don't like yet. Just keep finding these stuff.
We're at a bar and Ellis the brewer, we just redid totally redid the recipe on the IPA, and pours Tom a little glass of it, and Tom drinks it, and he goes, "That's a good beer." And I actually go out and I'm like, "Tom, if a beer sucked that he brewed, would you tell him?" And he said, 100%. I would tell him it sucked.
He just hit.
What made you change the recipe on it? Was it?
He just wanted it more hoppy. He wanted the alcohol content a little bit higher.
Yeah, the front end. He wanted the front end different, more of a bouquet on the front end. So
wanted to be able to smell the hops in it and everything. So turned out really good.
The first time I really started to explore IPAs, I worked with a guy and he took me to, I think it was Rich O's Public House over in Clarksville. Remember that? It was like a bar. And they had a beer fest every year called Gravity Head. And so when he took me over there and we sat down, the very first beer IPA that I had was one called Bale's Hop Slam. And if you've ever had the Hop Slam, it's really hoppy. I think it's like a 90 IBU. So it's way up.
It'll clench your jaw.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's way up there. It's got a lot of hops. And I don't know if it's true, but he told me that the story behind it was that they kind of used it to clear out all the hops they had left over, and so that's why they have it. You only get it in February. It comes out every February because they're clearing out all the hop barrels. So. But that's a great beer.
I wonder if it tastes the same from year to year. You know what I mean? Can they make it the same year to year? You think?
Well, it's really rare. You gotta know where to find it because they only put it out in February. But when they do, it's really good beer. So that's
an interesting market too. That the market where the limited edition beers that come out. There's so many people that are they just want that exclusivity. I think it's the right word. They just when it comes out, they got to be first. They got to be in line. Justin Vasher, a good buddy of ours that helped us get the beer going, he's a home brewer and brewed here He did a limited edition of his stuff. And he's got a great following. They were out the door here together. I mean, he just on the web. It's like
I pulled up to go to work, and I was like, God, man, what's going on?
Yeah, flying around the block to get his stuff that he did. He did a ghost. It's good. It's solid.
So you were saying earlier that now you're starting to can and get it out in the market. So where can somebody find the Hometown beer?
So right now, you can find it at your local Kroger. We're in a few Krogers here and there. We'll be shifting around, just finding the markets that we sell better at. And we're working with our distributor right now on that fish market. They're a local guy. We want to keep everything local that we do.
Cool.
As much as we can. We want to just keep everything local. So right now you can keep it. You can definitely find it at Kroger. Here soon we'll be in a couple liquor stores. I think Evergreen Liquors too has it, right?
Yeah, Evergreen has, and of course you can get it at most Hometown Pizza restaurants. Have it, if you stop in Hometown, most ones that have the ability to sell beer on tap, they'll have it. And you can go to the Lou City, go to the stadium, where the family stadium. Go catch a game and have a beer. It's all there.
We got the formula and the long body in there right now.
Yeah, well the APA and the IPA are on tap there, right?
And
so we're on draft and can in the stadium.
And they've been great partners for us.
Yeah, those guys they're good people. Yeah, that's a good group of people.
So tell us a little bit about the Mustang back here. You said you got a beer coming out that's going to be.
Yeah, you tell them. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we have the Munich Lager that's coming out, and we're just sitting around. We're talking like, what car can we name the Munich Lager at? We really felt like we had the recipe down and everything, and so we're sitting around and we're like, what's the Mustang? It has a number on it, right? And Tom goes, it's 5.0. And I was like, Ellis, what's the beer content on the Munich? And he goes, 5.1. I was like, you can get that down to 5.0, right? And that's kind of how it went. And it kind of we were thinking red. So, this car has the red stripe. So it kind of it fell into place, and that's kind of over some beers.
These cars, the chassis designation is a Fox body. Yeah. So, that's kind of plays into the name, and it plays into everything that we've got. So it just, we try to tie it together to where, if somebody that kind of knows what's going on can kind of start to figure it out.
Yeah, and you said that the logo is going to kind of look like the red with blue stripes on the Mustang.
Yep. It's gonna try to resemble.
I want to put
the car.
pony in there because then Ford will
then they'll come after us for some money.
I don't get that aggravation. Thank you.
Unless you can get them microchips right now.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's cool. So after this? What's some of the other beers you see coming down?
We're working on perfecting our next batch of the IPA. And the IPA just sells so well, so we know we've got to add that as one of our permanent fixtures. But we've had this one for a while. But there's a first gen Volkswagen GTI sitting right over here. Cool. So yeah, that one's going to be, and that's an '83 model. So that's the very first year of a GTI, badge of GTI. So we're going to have the beer is going to be the GT IPA.
Oh, I like that.
So it's just kind of fish in a barrel for me right there. So
I like it.
So we'll put a big sound system in it, and we'll put little 6 barrels in the back of it and drive it around and do selling beer or giving beer away.
And you told me when we talked on the phone that something about an ambulance. So what?
So
I want to hear this story.
Yeah, this guy. So he wants to turn an old school ambulance and call it the Bourbons. And we kind of want to turn that into our self-distribution vehicle.
Right.
I love it.
Put a little Jimmy Gate on the back of it. I mean, they're 350s or 4, you know what I mean? They're big trucks anyway.
And I have an idea. You know how the ambulance has like a siren and everything? I kind of want to tweak the siren where it goes, Bourbons, Bourbons, Bourbons. So I turn that little sucker on when I pull up to a stop and just have the lights going and that siren going.
I can almost see like grown men, like kids going, ice cream truck.
It's the Bourbons, it's the Bourbons.
You start talking with this guy and his eyes just get bigger and bigger. When we start coming up with ideas after a few beers, it really starts getting fun.
I can see that. That'd be really cool. A bunch of guys run around like, get out of the way. It's the beer balloons. I got to go get one. Run up to their wife. Hey, can I get one?
Yeah.
Honey, I need $4.
Love it. So other than that, is there any really cool ideas you got brewing in your minds?
We got a stout can label that it hasn't came out yet, and we really haven't finalized or anything, but be looking for that one out in November, December.
Yeah,
that one's going to be.
It's going to be a big
beer.
It's going to
be like an oatmeal stout or.
we're not
don't
100%
know
yet,
yet. Yeah, I don't know yet.
but we had the
We have some
label.
ideas.
The label's done. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's the first time we've had like the label finished before.
We'll let it come back
before
around that time.
before the beer's out. We
So yeah, and you'll have to go back too when we've got stuff in bourbon barrels as well.
Yeah.
So we're aging stuff right now.
Oh, that's cool.
So so we've got an APA in a barrel, and we've got
Ooh, that's going to
yeah,
be
we
really
got
cool.
we got a
APA.
big stout in the barrel,
we got a toasted pilsner in the barrel.
toasted pills in a barrel, and then we did one for the Bourbon Outlaws, right?
Yep, the Bourbon Outlaws. They're the ones that have the APA in the bourbon barrel.
So a custom thing for them, and they're kind of a band of local do-gooders. They, I don't know if you've heard of those, but they're just going to do. They're going to buy. We're going to can it for them, and they're going to sell it, and then donate all the proceeds to whatever charitable organization they do. So which is kind of a neat thing. They're
Cool.
good guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So so when you guys got everything up and running on this, I mean, was it did it go the way you smooth? You running any hiccups coming out of the
I
gate?
think the first hiccup was COVID. Honestly.
Oh yeah, you launched right before COVID. That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah, we were playing around for the first year. 2019. We had like we're doing some small batches things, really nailing our recipes, getting them down, and then I believe we had the Pilsner or the formula ready to go right in March, and it was going to be our first big batch, and then COVID hit. So that was kind of a little setback, but
What'd you end up doing?
we drank it all. We just got to get.
There
Gotta
you
go
go.
somewhere.
We weren't going to pour it down the drain.
I don't waste it. I ain't gonna really.
Oh my! Yeah, that's I've never even really thought about it, because a lot of people started businesses right before COVID, and then it just kind of threw everything monkey wrench and everything. So
Well, we didn't know what we were doing when we were doing this, and
that's the best way.
hindsight being 2020 is like, did you really want to go do that? But now that it's here, and it's on, it's like, okay, I wouldn't do it any other way, or I might change a few things, but we're very fortunate that we didn't have to go into debt to build this place. We saved our money, and we kind of went cash as you go. So we've got the equipment, we did all our stuff. So when COVID hit, we were financially sound, and we all just kind of hunkered down and did what we needed to do for each other. We took care of everybody here, kept all of our employees working, and just tried to do our best. So,
Well, that's awesome. Is there what kind of getting back to the cars? You said your favorite was the
Dodge Ram. Yeah.
right. If you could, what would be any car that money was no object? What would you go get?
So, I don't know much about cars, to be honest with you.
That's the best way.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not-
yeah.
but the old
The more
Chevy,
you know, the more frustrated you get.
the old Chevy square box like trucks kind of lifted a little bit. I'd like it white with a candy apple stripe down the middle, just a one-seater bench. That's old school, probably like in the 60s, 70s, right around there.
That's like a K5 Blazer, right? Is that what that is?
Yeah, the boxy ones.
Right.
I'm gonna try a game to buy one. We'll name a beer after it.
Blazer. Blazer. That'd be a good name.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you? Any car?
Money's no object?
None of y'all.
I'm buying the original Batmobile.
Hey, cool.
The Bear is original, man. I'm going to go out and get it and drive it around all day long.
I love it.
What
How about you? Yeah, what's yours?
Yeah.
Yes, money's no object.
Mine, it would have to be probably the General Lee. I grew up watching that, and that was watching Bo and Luke slide across the hood, and then I got when I was with Auto Trader, I got the pleasure of meeting those two guys because Auto Trader did a commercial with them in 2014, and they were at our annual meeting out in Vegas, and so I got to get my picture taken with them and talk to them a little bit. Not long, as they had a bunch of other people on the talking, but that was really cool. So, and then they took the picture on a green screen, and then they superimposed the General Lee in the background on it. And I don't know if you remember the commercials, but they had Bo and Luke, and they had to get a new car because the General Lee was getting broken, and they ended up with what was it? A Viper. It was a Viper. So,
Do you ever wonder how many General Lees they busted during the run of the show?
they had to.
I mean, I've heard there was like 70 or 80 General Lees they wrecked during the course of it.
I know that when they were doing the commercial, getting ready to do the commercials for Auto Trader, because we were in Vegas and that was in January, and right after the event in Vegas, one of my coworkers that lived in down around Louisiana, sent me a picture, and there was a car hauler with 13 of the General Lees on this car hauler heading into Louisiana. So, they took 13 to film the commercial. So you can imagine how many they busted up. They probably had a body shop that kept them busy. So, yeah, because they were, doing some pretty hard stunts on those cars. Driving them through barns and
jumping the ravine,
all kinds of crazy things. If your favorite car and your dream car, okay. So what if you could do something here in the Louisville community that you think would really have a big impact? What's something you'd like to do locally?
Well, we have a charitable organization through Hometown Pizza and the brewery called Every Slice Matters.
Oh, awesome!
So Every Slice has been in existence now for 5-7 years, and what we do is we'll raise money, and then we'll do gooder things in the community. Last thing we did was an outdoor classroom for Tully Elementary. It's small stuff. It's kind of glue and screw, that stuff that the little projects that nobody does. Yeah. So we redid the heating and air system at the Henry County Help Center. Just it's stuff like that we just it's small, but it's meaningful, and it gives our people an opportunity to volunteer in the community.
I love that it was Henry County. That's where my mom's from.
Yeah. And I haven't seen them for a while, but the Help Center is a good thing.
That's awesome. So you want someone to tell us about the beers that we've got up here?
Yeah. So we can kind of the ones that we still got that we haven't drank yet.
This is the Marzen.
Yeah, that's the
Marzen
really good that we have. Right here we have our, I believe that's our IPA that we have right there. That's the Munich Lager that's going to be named after the fox body. This is our Hef that we just came out with this year.
That is really good IPA.
Yeah. It's not too hoppy. It's not too overbearing. Now the next one is going to be a little bit hoppy on you.
A little hop forward.
Then I believe you're drinking the Pilsner, right? Then I'm drinking our Toasted Pilsner. And then right now, like I said, we have the canned formula, which is our Pilsner. The canned
Everybody
long
loves a
body.
Pilsner in the summer. So
Yeah.
clean and crisp. So
It's got flavor. It's got everything you want in the Pilsner.
Yeah, part of what Every Slice does is we have done it several times now. The Franciscan Kitchen down on South Preston, there's a food shelter, and they'll feed anybody. They show up, they feed you, no questions asked. Have a nice day. And so we take our food trailer down and manage their load for the day. We supplement what they have to do to just try to aid, because they're just dependent on people's generosity to bring food down, and they fix it. And again, Chuck Mattingly's a guy down there who does that. Super nice guy, and we just have formed a really good relationship with him. And he, and we're down there. We do it 2 times a year.
That's awesome.
We also did a coat grab. I can remember.
Yeah. We also did. I took a bunch of that he got. Took a bunch of coats down on Christmas Day.
Yeah, Christmas coats for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So
they gave them out to all their people.
We try to be good guys.
And you've got some projects working.
Yeah. One of the big things that we have coming up is the first weekend in August is the Street Rod Nationals. And that's kind of a big thing for us. One, because our patio fills up. Last year it was a little burden because we couldn't get that many people out there with COVID going on. Had to socially distance, but this year we plan to get it real big. So we usually put about 200 people out there, 200 chairs. We just have, drinking, watching the cars, hoping everybody does the burnouts. So this year we kind of have a plan. We're gonna pull all the cars that we had the beers labeled after, kind of pull them all out, showcase them, everything. Have a big old party and celebrate everybody getting back together this year.
Yeah, get back to normal.
Yeah, everybody's back to normal, and we're gonna rock it out this year. We're gonna have some fun.
Well, it can't be worse than 2020.
Let that one go.
Anything will be an improvement over that.
It's gonna be cars, beer, pizza.
I told the guys, our service department manager the other day, and he kind of looked at me funny, but I said, hey, I got an idea for a promotion. How about bring your mask in and get $10 off an oil change.
Hey,
and we'll just burn the
mask.
Yeah.
Just have a barrel going and put them in.
Right there in front of them.
Get rid of these damn things.
Oh.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this. The beers are awesome. I know you guys are going to crush it as far as that, and I've really enjoyed the conversation.
Well,
thank you so much.
No, thanks for being here. We appreciate it so much.
And how can people follow you guys?
So we're on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anything. We're on there, and just follow the hashtag Good People Good Brews. When we have new and exciting things.
And stop by our restaurant. Don't be afraid. Stop by and say hello.
Get a slice of pie and a beer. We'd like to thank Tom and Chris at Hometown Brewing for sitting down with us today. Hometown beers are available at most of the 18 area Hometown Pizza locations. Visit hometownpizza.com for more information.